Hey guys, Joseph Baba Ifa here on the channel, connecting you to your destiny once again, coming at you with a new video today. When do I get my Ifa name? And for all of those who haven't had the opportunity, please go ahead and tap on that subscribe button. The Ifa name, or the name representing you as a practitioner of this beautiful spirituality. Someone recently asked, when do I get it? And complex question because there's a bunch of different answers. So we're going to get into the different sects of the spirituality and see when each of them would provide you with a name, right? Whether it be Isheshe or whether it be Lukumi. So when we're talking about Isheshe, or, even the way Ifa started, you would receive your Ifa name in a ceremony known as Esentaye Loruko. Ese means feet. Taye means to touch earth. And Loruko means name. So when we're saying Esentaye Loruko, we're saying my feet touch earth and they give me a name, which is a ceremony that's done at 7 days for women or 9 days for men, right? So that's when you would get your Ifa name. But when we're talking about Ifa name, we're actually talking about your name because this is the naming ceremony. So it's not necessarily based on anything religious. It's just that being that Ifa is so entrenched in Yoruba culture, even a non-practitioner might have a name that is, Ifa Fumike or Ifa Nike like mine or anything like that. And you might not even be an Ifa practitioner necessarily. It's just the culture. The same way John is a very popular name over here, or Joseph, or, Carl, etc. So that's when you would get your name, period, right? Now, the word Loruko does mean name, or Oruko, right? And that's how that practice would work. So now sometimes it's given in conjunction, or things are done simultaneously with the ceremony of Isefa, or hand of Ifa. Now at that point, not only are you having your destiny revealed, but you're also receiving Orumila. Now, even though most people go through the not the hand of Ifa ceremony, but the naming ceremony in Nigeria, not everybody receives Orumila. The hand of Ifa ceremony in the New World became commonplace with the revelation of your Odu and Guardian Orisha and being the first ceremony, because the Esentaye ceremony really didn't pick up ground or popularity in the New World. But when we're talking about the Hand of Ifa ceremony in Africa, it's usually given to people who are trying to proceed within Ifa, whether it is becoming a Babalawo or a practitioner of the religion, etc. And at that point, if you were to go through that ceremony, if you weren't young enough to still go through the Esentaye ceremony, which is usually done within a year of a child being born, if it's not done at those pre-selected 7th and 9th dates, then at that point they would provide you with an Ifa name as well. For example, I've had people come in who practice Isheshe and have received their Owo Ifa Ogang or Owo Fakang, their hand of Ifa, and they've been given an Ifa name, and sometimes even a last name based on the lineages still being, so recorded over there and not disrupted by slavery. In the New World Ifa practice, when you receive hand of Ifa, they don't give you a name. You receive your Odu as well as the identification of your Guardian Orisha. Right? So we touched on hand of Ifa and what you would be receiving there depending on your discipline. In the Isheshe practice, you would get a name. In the Afro-Cuban one, you would more than likely not get a name, but you will know what your sign as well as Guardian Orisha is. Now, when we're talking about Ifa names or Orisha names in the Afro-Cuban tradition, you're usually going to get those when you initiate into a priesthood. So for example, someone such as myself who was initiated into the mysteries of Oshun, you're given an Oshun name, right? In my case, it's Oshun Nike, right? Now, that is usually given when somebody becomes an Olorisha in the New World. Now, for someone to actually receive an Ifa name, right, that's usually reserved in the New World Lukumi practice for gentlemen who become Bawalaos. That's when you really see Ifa this or Awo this. It's usually reserved for the people occupying that priesthood. And the reason the things changed in the New World is because of the oppression we received. Certain lineages were broken. We don't really style giving last names in Orisha. Like your name wouldn't be Oshunike, Orisha Bemi, or something like that. Because the last name is usually reflective of your lineage. And when people came over in the diaspora, they were stripped from their homeland. They were separated from their clans and families. those things got lost. But you're still given a name representing you within Orisha, a name by which Olodumare recognizes you. And apart from that, those names, or your name, is actually very indicative of your destiny as well. Another great way to find out things or get confirmations about your destiny is recognizing your name within your Odu of Ifa and seeing what parallels are there. So really interesting stuff. But if you want an Ifa name within the Afro-Cuban tradition, you have to do Ifa. Now, if you get crowned as an Olorisha priest, you're going to get an Orisha name, right? And we spoke about how culturally most names in Nigeria are reflective of the culture. Even though it's an Ifa name, it doesn't necessarily indicate that being their spirituality. And we spoke about how the name also has connotations with one's destiny. So for the video in a nutshell, if you want an Ifa name before becoming a priest, or if priesthood is not something you want to move forward with, but you do want your hand of Ifa and you want a name, Isheshe is going to be a little more accessible for you. If you're not really worried about that and you just want your hand of Ifa to possibly move forward as well, Lukumi is going to be more accessible to you, or going to provide you with your goals, right? Another way of looking at things is that, within the Afro-Cuban tradition, we kind of look at our Odu of Ifa being our name. So when we get called in front of Olodumare, and it's time for us to go back home, or to heaven, right? The first thing he's gonna say, hey, Irete Odura, is that you? And I'm gonna be like, yes, that's me, because your actual name, who you are, is your Odu of Ifa. That is your spiritual DNA, that's your social security card, etc. The other things, such as the names of Orisha or Ifa, are just complements to that. But the way you're recognized in front of Olodumare is by way of your Odu of Ifa, right? Names are very important though. So they're just ways for, Olodumare to recognize you and see that and have confirmation that you're fulfilling your spiritual debts. So Ifa name, if you want it sooner than a priesthood, you're gonna go with the Isheshe route. If it's not that important to you and you're willing to wait for other things, the Lukumi option is very attractive. You're definitely gonna get names on both sides when you initiate in the Orisha practice as well as Ifa practice. That's why some Nigerian priests, you see them, they have these huge long names and they go by certain different names, because sometimes they'll use their birth name, or sometimes they'll use their initiation name, right? So guys, there you have it. When do I get my Ifa name? From Joseph Baba Ifa, new video. We really appreciate all the support. The channel's growing every day. Subscribers are growing. Really great stuff. If you're interested in any Ifa drip shirts or Orisha drip shirts like the Elegua one, I got the keys. You can go to botanicacandlesandmore.com to purchase one, or schedule a consultation with me there, or by calling 407-440-2086. Joseph Baba Ifa, myself, appreciates you, as does Botanica Candles and More. And guys, thank you so much for the support. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, and until next time, take care, family.